They have a crazy mind that they can be extreme. I think that's why she's always going far because she's always trying to relate to the younger and
And
the older generation.
seriously speaking, Jessica, her energy is top notch.
Ah.
When I see her movies, when I see her doing her
You see
dance,
the
trying to
advert for
push,
the new one? I was
what is
wowed.
this? Like, Funke,
Yeah.
please, you
It was
deserve
very
your
good.
flowers. You deserve it. And it's a good one for the young photographer. I mean, congratulations to you.
Congratulations to him.
And this stands for all creative minds. Please don't give up on your dream. Keep pushing. Definitely one day the universe will shine on you. All right, guys. This is where we call it a wrap on the Spotlight Show. Trust me, it was really amazing having you guys join us here on the Spotlight Show. And don't forget to follow us on all our social media handle at VOPTV Live and also subscribe to our YouTube channel for fresh and trending stories. And yes, you know, I'm always your host, Precious Akumanu, aka Call Me Prezi. I wasn't here alone. I was here with my darling and new angel,
Jessica Iloakasia.
all right. And this is a wrap. See you next time on the Spotlight Show for another edition. Bye for now.
Bye.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Yes, obviously everybody knows the game is beautiful and that's why I love sports. My name is Kizzy K, you're welcome to my republic. But remember, there can never be a transfer without a window. Just like there can never be a deep thinking without a Pep Guardiola in football. You can't say tennis without talking about Djokovic. So why not give me attention on the show so I can run your race on the TV like Lewis Hamilton Formula 1 star. Don't forget, when God have mercy on you, you can achieve your goals like Cristiano Ronaldo. I am a proud Nigerian, and right here, we talk NFF. For every sports update, commentaries, live interviews on the game, we got you on this, because right here at Voice of the People TV, the Sports Public Show has got everything just for you to be part of it. I love the beautiful game, and that's why Kizzy K loves sports.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Nigerians, your voice matters, and in 2027 it starts with your permanent voters card, your PVC. If you're 18 and above and you're a Nigerian citizen, you have the right to choose who leads your community your state, and your country. But that right only counts if you have your PVC and your name is on the voter register. Here's what to do. First, check if you're registered. If you're not, or if you've moved, lost your card, or turned 18 since the last election, go to the nearest INEC office or an INEC registration center. Second, it's free. Don't pay anyone for any registration or collection. Third, collect your PVC early. Don't wait until the week before elections. INEC will announce dates. Listen to radio, TV, and follow INEC's official pages. Your PVC is more than plastic. It's your power to hold leaders accountable. It's how you decide on roads, schools, hospitals, and jobs for your community. When you vote, you decide the future of your children. Get registered. Get your PVC. Vote in 2027. For Nigeria to work, you must be a part of it. Your vote, your future, your responsibility.
This message is brought to you by Voice of the People, VOP Media.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more, tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
Big news this year. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on Nigecomsat. All you need to do is align your dish using the following: orbit position 40.5 degrees east, 12.685 GHz, 30,000 kilobytes per second. Polarized vertical, frequency 2, 12.731 GHz, symbol rate 26,250 kilobytes per second. Polarization H. This works on any decoder. Catch up to 100 channels, sports, movies, news, all for free. This is with better quality at no extra cost. VOP TV on Free TV. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
From the views on the street
We go to bed empty hunger.
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society:
representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television, truly a voice for the people. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People television. Now you have more than a voice.
Hello and welcome to the African News on Voice of the People television. I am Praise Peters. Before we begin the news, kindly visit our website on www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. And for WhatsApp, the number is 081-36-714-129. Now, the news in detail. The Al-Wahar Security Directorate said Libya's security authorities recovered the bodies of at least 6 migrants in the southeast of the country after their vehicle broke down in the desert. The directorate said the bodies were recovered in a desert area about 200 kilometers northwest of the town of Jalu. Libya has become a transit route for migrants fleeing conflicts and poverty to Europe through dangerous routes across the desert and over the Mediterranean since the toppling of former leader Muammar Gaddafi in a NATO-backed uprising in 2011. The directorate said 2 bodies were found inside the broken-down vehicle, while 3 more were found about 4 kilometers away from the vehicle, and 1 body was found about 10 kilometers away after tracking their footprints. It said the vehicle documents showed that its owner was from Chad. The directorate further added that in the same incident, 19 migrants were rescued on Sunday, although it did not say where they were rescued. Elsewhere, the ECOWAS resident representative and head of mission to Guinea-Bissau, Ngozi Ukaije, has commended personnel of the ECOWAS Stabilization Support Mission in Guinea-Bissau ESSBMG for their professionalism. Ukaije, who described the personnel as diplomatic military professionals, gave the commendation when the 4th Commander, Brigadier General Danjuma Dantani, led other senior officials to pay her a courtesy visit in her office in Bissau. A statement by the spokesperson of ESSMGB, Major Ruben Kovangia, said the ambassador expressed delight at receiving the newly inducted senior officers and commended the professionalism of the mission's contingents. It added that Okaije also praised their ability to settle quickly into their responsibilities upon assumption of duty. Okaije urged the contingent commanders to tailor their in-house training towards supporting Guinea-Bissau's national defense forces ahead of the forthcoming referendum and subsequent general elections. Tanzania's President Samia Hassan has accepted the resignation of the country's vice president less than a year on the job. A government spokesperson who did not give reasons for the resignation said Emmanuel Nchimbi will leave office on September 4, having served since November last year. The Secretary General of the President's ruling party, Chama Cha Mapundi Zu, drew criticism from some in the party for remarks in July they considered unnecessary when he told an event hosted by a rights group that he would urge Tanzanians to fight for a new constitution. President Hassan emerged the winner of last year's presidential election, securing nearly 98% in a vote marred by deadly violence. A government-appointed inquiry panel said at least 518 people were killed in the unrest, encouraged by the exclusion of leading opposition candidates from the elections. Uganda's military chief and son of President Yoweri Museveni, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has announced plans to run for president in 2031. Kainerugaba said he would contest for the country's highest office and expressed confidence that he would win with the support of his father. He had previously been linked to a presidential bid in the 2026 elections, but eventually withdrew and supported Museveni, who has ruled Uganda since 1986. The 52-year-old is widely viewed as a potential successor to his 81-year-old father. The announcement has renewed debate over political succession in Uganda, with critics questioning the growing influence of the president's son in the country's politics. A government spokesperson said any decision on Museveni's future political plans would be made by the president and his ruling National Resistance Movement Party at the appropriate time. In another development, Guinea-Bissau, which is being led by military officers who staged a coup in 2025, will hold a constitutional referendum on August 30 that would expand the power of the presidency and reshape rules for elections scheduled for December. Under the current constitution, Guinea-Bissau's legislature names a prime minister who appoints a cabinet. However, the new constitution would allow the president to appoint and dismiss the prime minister and cabinet. It would also allow him to create or abolish government ministries, chair the council of ministers, dissolve parliament in the event of a grave political crisis, and dismiss the government under certain circumstances. The new constitution would also reduce the number of members of parliament to 65 seats from 102 and cut the number of electoral constituencies from 29 to 12. Presidential candidates would have to reside permanently in Guinea-Bissau for 5 years before an election, a condition not included in the current constitution, which requires candidates to be Guinean citizens by birth, at least 35 years old, and in full possession of civil and political rights. Elsewhere, President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced that South Africa's military-backed Operation Prosper has disrupted illegal mining syndicates, resulting in over 1,000 arrests and the seizure of heavy weapon stockpiles. He added that 19 firearms, over 2,000 rounds of ammunition, and 41 commercial vehicles were seized in Operation Prosper, which the government says is disrupting illegal mining networks across the Free State, Gauteng, and Northwest. According to him, further seizures includes 83 generators, over 1,000 refining drums, nearly 2,000 kilograms of gold-bearing materials, and about 150 kilograms of gold, alongside the closure of illegal mining shafts. The government says the joint operations by the South African Police Service and South African National Defence Force will continue through patrols, vehicle checkpoints, and air-to-ground monitoring to prevent illegal mining activities from resurging. The operation is aimed at curbing illicit mining activities across the country. Still in South Africa, the country's mining companies are accelerating their shift to renewable energy as they seek to reduce their dependence on state-owned power utility, Eskom. Major mining firms are investing in wind and solar power to cut electricity costs, improve energy security, and reduce carbon emissions. The move comes as South Africa continues to depend heavily on coal for electricity, while mining companies face increasing pressure to adopt cleaner sources of energy. However, industry executives say Eskom will remain important to the mining sector, as renewable sources such as wind and solar cannot provide a constant supply of electricity. We'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we bring to you the analysis segment of the African news. Do stay with us.
Big news this year. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on Nigecomsat. All you need to do is align your dish using the following: orbit position 40.5 degrees east, 12.685 gigahertz, 30,000 kilobytes per second. Polarized vertical, frequency 2, 12.731 gigahertz, symbol rate 26,250 kilobytes per second. Polarization H. This works on any decoder. Catch up to 100 channels, sports, movies, news, all for free. This is with better quality at no extra cost. VOP TV on Free TV. Now you have more than a voice.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we'll bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Voice of the People television. Now you have more than a voice.
Good evening, Africa. My name is Mama Corey, actor, model, producer, and I'm giving a big shout out to VOP TV, man. Keep watching. Don't change the dial. Thank you and God bless you.
My name is AY, and of course, I represent the voice of the people, and that's why I'm on VOP. AY say so.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Miriam Tima from the Real Housewives of Lagos and the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Africa. Shout out to VOP, the voice of the people. You already know. Stay tuned, keep watching. And don't forget, VOP is the best.
All right, hello, how are you? It's about shagging the man fine back with Melanie Poppy Black Skin Boy. This is VOP TV. If you're not watching VOP, I don't know why you're watching. Maybe you're watching your weight. Bye.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Wale Ojo, and you're watching VOP.
Welcome back and thank you for staying tuned. Now we're moving to the analysis segment of the African news. Joining us in the studio for more insight is Dele Fanimo. He is a veteran journalist and a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much for joining the African news. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Now joining us virtually is Okwemi Ogunlami. He is also a public affairs analyst. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thanks for having me.
Thank you once again. Well, we'll begin with the studio, and we'll be starting from the story about the 6 migrants' bodies that were recovered in southeast Libya. Now, 6 migrants have reportedly died in the desert, while 19 others were rescued. So, my question is, what keeps people choosing these dangerous routes, knowing that going from that particular part of the country to another part could risk their lives? Why do they keep going on these dangerous routes where their safety is not even guaranteed?
Well, the propelling need for you to migrate is always for greener pasture or a way of escaping attack, you know. So, what this particular incident is not something that has just started happening. It's been there for years. And even when they know, most times they know that it's a 50-50 chance to cross from Africa to Europe using the IC. And it is either you are dehydrated on a stretch of desert where you don't have oasis to get water. Some people even take in their urine to survive.
Is the quest for survival that bad?
You see, let me tell you, when you have almost zero hope of having life within within an enclosure, the propensity for you to escape to find hope in other place is always very high. You imagine somebody who had graduated and 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, no job, and somebody says, if you can survive and cross to Europe, at least things work better there and you have opportunity of existence and making it. And more so, you now see returnee Africans coming back to their country to exhibit newfound wealth. You are propelled to want to go through that route, taking the risk, and if you succeed, fine. If you don't succeed, fine. So most times, along the belt of the desert, people die. Some fall off from the truck, and they never wait for them. You just see the head of that person that has fallen off receding into a tiny speck, and everybody disappears and continue with the journey. What about the ones that are stuck and they get drowned in the high sea as a result of overloading the boat or the tug? So, but the important thing here that should be the lesson is, why are our African leaders not doing what they should do? Why are they not transformational leaders who can transform Africa into a continent that will be sought after by these Europeans, Americans, Asians, and all what have you? Because under our feet, we have more than 20 times in multiple form the resources that Europe, America, Asia combined have. But unfortunately, we are not annexing our resources for the betterment of all. There are billionaires in America and Canada and some other South American countries that the house they built when they were struggling is where they still live. Warren Buffett, a billionaire, has not left that house that he built when he was building his wealth till today. No fence. As a matter of fact, he meets with his MDs of his various companies once in a year for 30 minutes each. Because you look at Bill Gates, he doesn't wear suit most of the time. He just rolls off his sleeve, white shirt, and off he goes. But Africans, you want to build war chest for your 10 generations as if the family of Okotie, how many of them do you hear their name today? Even as recent as MK Abiola, how many? When the Bible said, you gather wealth for those who will spend it. You don't know, nobody's tomorrow is assured. And yet, our leaders keep acquiring with this rapacious inclination to acquire wealth, and to what end? That's the question you asked. For every person that died along that route, you should trace it back to the leadership back at home.
So the leadership is meant to be blamed?
Yes. If we provide an enabling environment for those people that are caught up in the Mediterranean and even in the desert, there won't be any incentive to go out to leave this country. There was a time a pastor went to Europe. He forgot that he was not in Nigeria. And at the end of his sermon, he said, those of you who are looking up to God for visa to travel out of this country, bring along with you your passport tomorrow, and let me pray for you. One of his says, who is based out there, whispered to his ears, I said, people here don't travel. That's not a prayer point here. Nobody will come. That is it. If I'm comfortable in my own country, what am I going to do in your country? You think those who are in Europe and America, they enjoy it? If they have half of the incentives and facilities over there, they will rush back home. Who wants to stay in winter? And when it is summer, extreme heat. What we get here, vitamin K we get here free of charge by walking through the sun, is what people buy supplements to get in some part of this world. So why should I? Why should I go and stay in such places? You find Nigerians in Russia, you find Nigeria in Ukraine as at this time when war is ravaging these two countries. And some of these people will tell you that anywhere you don't find Nigerians, that you better pick your bag and leave, because there is nothing you can get from that place. So it is just a way of escaping hopelessness. That's
so
why
are you
find
insinuating that the government or the African leaders are the ones suppressing the masses by hoarding all of the resources and keeping them away from the citizens to enjoy?
Let's look at Nigeria. Or let's go offshore. Look at Cameroon. For 3.5 months, Paul Biya was away. Nobody could even hazard a guess as to where he is in France. Now the man is coming back. While he was leaving, he made his son chief of defense, which is like a de facto vice president to him. Now, what that means is, anytime from now, if that man dies, it's either his son has a palace coup and take over from his dad, or the electorate would have been twisted to the point that they will have no choice than to vote for him. So he takes over. In Nigeria here, one single person had been accused, and his case is still pending, that he needs to come and explain how he spent 186 billion naira of state funds. You do know what 186 billion can do? 186 billion can build a world-class hospital, equip it. Now we have it, all of them like that, scattered all over the country. If these monies are recovered from them, you think anybody will fly out of this country to go and take medical tourism in India or France or Europe, or America? No! The money some individual has stolen in this country is enough to do Calabar, just about 10 of them, is enough to do this Calabar Coastal Highway. But some of them, with karma, some of them will acquire this wealth, and before their very eyes, they won't spend a fraction of this money before they die. And their family remains in oblivion. But the point is, how long shall they kill our youth? How long? Because these are the so-called reasons why countries are governed, for the welfare and security of the citizens. Those are the two planks. And if you are not ready to provide all of this, then these people will take a flight. Doctors graduate, they don't have equipment to work. Some of them, it's not the salary that made them pick their bags and go to Europe or America or Saudi Arabia. Because what laser surgery can do, we still use scalpel here. In this country, you still have doctors operating with telephone searchlights. Take delivery with telephone searchlights. It cannot be imagined elsewhere. So why would that person not think that it is better for me to take a risk? If I die, I die. If I succeed, I bring back the proceeds from wherever I'm going.
That is quite unfortunate. Well, let's take this conversation over to our virtual guest, Okwemi Ogunlami. Now, the migrants are fleeing conflict and poverty, like our analyst has said. But many are trying to reach Europe now. The question is, how much of this crisis is actually an African problem? And how much responsibility should Europe bear? as regards this conversation?
I want to build on the premise Mr. Adele Fanimo had established from the studio there, and it is that migrants, I don't want to say Nigeria, migrants out of Africa are fleeing away from nothing but abject poverty. And then, to be honest, even for young people, most especially, a lot of us had reasoned it, except for those of us that are stubborn and we still have something to put in our mouths. But when the pressure is too much, we also want to find a way, because as young people cater for families and friends with the little they get that isn't enough for them, they want to find a way, and that's why Nigeria coined the word Japa. They don't just think of leaving the country; they think of leaving the artificial hardship that is being meted on the country, especially its younger generation, because that hardship, poverty, is a tool in the hand of the high and mighty, especially in Nigeria, and it has spread across Africa. Now, how much will Europe bear? Europe had done a lot of things with regards to displacement. In fact, I think 1951, there's 1951 refugee law that states for Europe that they must not send back, they must retain whoever flee its own country into Europe, must be retained and accommodated. That is there that binds Europe. And then Europe had done a lot of things too. Let me clear this. Europe, in fact, Germany, Spain, they are doing a lot of things for Nigerian Africans, which irresponsible government, bad governance had so much destroyed. It will amaze you to know that Germany and Germany, Spain, Russia, and many countries in Europe, for us to limit the danger of migrating en masse into Europe, they gave us chance too. In fact, I know of Germany, at least in Germany, like about 20,000 youth are expected from across African countries, 20 or more across African countries, to be educated, sponsored on scholarship, to be also trained in one vocation or the other, and then they will bring them back into their country to be to inculcate what they've learned from outside, from Europe, into their country. Now, how would this policy, how would it gear towards the progress of the migrants? The presidency will release it to a House of National Assembly, the Senate. They will go to their different constituency and give it to the House of Assembly, the local government chairman. They will also spread across the world for young people to be beneficiaries of all this. But what do we see? A lot of people we have in government they are clueless. They don't even know anything. In fact, as I'm talking now, I know a lot of chairmen and councillors who don't even know about this. Even House of Assembly representatives don't even know. Europe gave that to Africa. And the ones they got to know about, they give that slot to their family members, to their relatives, some of them to their girlfriends. That's what we've seen in Nigeria and across Africa. People get to the place of power and then they represent themselves and their cronies. And they are not responsible to people they ought to serve. So we can't blame Europe. Europe will keep accepting people, fine. Europe had lent a helping hand to Africa, and it is still there. But unfortunately, what is leadership doing? Nothing. There are a lot of knowledge-based transfer programs that have been done and put in place, but politics is destroying us. Corruption is destroying us. So until we fix our home, until we incorporate these benefits, until we start educating people in government, a lot of young people will keep running and endangering their own lives across board. We are the recovered body. Do you know how many bodies are irrecoverable in the Mediterranean Sea? Do you know how many people are fleeing from the boats when there is tumult on the sea? A lot of things are happening to us. And then we will keep calling on the government back home to be more responsible. Governance in Nigeria, most especially, it's reflecting across Africa. In Nigeria, most especially, as this is our home, is now a personal enterprise. You support yourself and support your business tycoons that found themselves around you in power. And this must end. So Europe is doing well, and Europe will keep doing the best. But back home, what is our leader or what are our leaders doing? That's the question we need to ask.
Thank you very much. Well, we believe that changes will happen, but let's now take this conversation over to Tanzania. All right, I'll start with you, Mr. Dele Fanimo. Now, a vice president resigning less than a year after taking office naturally raises questions. Now, Mr. Dele, even without an official reason, how politically significant is the fact that a vice president is leaving office or resigning after just 9 months of being in office?
Well, let me tell you this. Tanzania, for wrong reason, has been in the news. Even before the election, you recall that the major opposition leader was incarcerated and was almost hounded out of the country. Now, it is not out of place to see the principal and his vice having issues. Particularly, there are always these divisive tendencies in Africa when it comes to politics. It's either on tribal issues or religious issues. And then ideological issue is not common in Africa because most parties are just platforms. Except when you have a place like South Africa, we have the ANC and the other parties. You know what the ANC stands for. But for the president and the vice president to get to this point, that the vice president had to resign. Because most leaders in Africa, no matter how you go to them, they never resign from office. Because what matters to them is not the welfare and the well-being of the people, but what accrues to them for holding that office. And so this is a clear departure. I am sure that the vice president does not have a very strong opposition platform to fight the cause, and that's why he's surrendering. But there are implications for this. If you cannot manage your vice, who is supposed to be your alter ego, then it means the tendency for you not to be able to manage the country you govern is very high.
All right, still talking about that. President Samia has won nearly 98%, right, during the election last year. But an inquiry later said that at least 518 people died in the case of election-related unrest. What does that tell us about the state of democracy in Tanzania?
That's what I said. There is this maxim that opposition will have its say, then the ruling we have is way. But at this cost I've just mentioned, 540-something is not just a figure. Behind this figure, you have blood and flesh running in these people's veins. And ordinarily, if you ask them before they met their untimely death, I'm sure that nobody would have wished to die in the process of electioneering. More so, they are not benefiting directly. But here we are. That's what it is. People are dying, and then you are intent on ruling over these people, the ones that are left, what signals are you giving? That whatever it is, I don't care, as long as I'm on the throne. Your people are not happy, and you're still struggling to remain perpetually in power. It's just the African thing, and I think we need to begin to interrogate some of these things and see if we need to have a change of value that will make us allow things to happen the natural way without spilling people's blood just because you want to ascend a throne that is not even your forefathers. It's not a traditional thing, it's a political thing. And the moment you are elected to serve, you should purge yourself of I, me, and myself, and concentrate on giving dividend democracy to the larger part of the populace. But unfortunately, that is not happening in Africa.
Quite unfortunate. Well, Okoyemi Ogunlami, Chimbi has reportedly called for Tanzanians to fight for a new constitution, just as he is resigning from the office of the Vice President of Tanzania. Now, could comments like that become politically insensitive, or do you think that there might be something that is going on that we all do not know?
Well, Tanzania is a reflection of the African society. It's also happening here. And then, just in September, thereabout, the president emerged. And then, we need to also know that the president set up a panel of inquiry that said to be at least around 500 plus. I think 518 people were killed in a political unrest that spurred from the exclusion of leading opposition candidates from the election. See, in Nigeria and in Africa, as we have it in Tanzania, it's a winner takes it all. So regardless of whatever any other person is saying, I'm just concerned. So it's a constitutional thing that has led to the restriction of, majorly to the restriction of the Nchimbi, Emmanuel Nchimbi, the vice president. And now that he is calling for constitutional change or reform in the country, he had been there. He knows what is going on. I just hope that the way they are pushing over there, we also push here, because Nigerians are still, Nigerians don't even know what constitution is saying. They just know that we are living and waking up, looking at the position of the constitution. But here we are, a vice president pushing and agitating that Tanzanians rise up to call for the constitutional change. It's a good one. And we need to also commend the vice president, the now former vice president. We need to commend him for taking that giant stride, because that means he had placed national interest over self or personal interest for him to take down the office, to go down the office of a vice president of the country and start advocacy for a constitutional change. So we look forward, as this is Africa, we look forward that other African countries will see this as a pointer towards a new direction, entirely in African society.
All right, thank you very much. Well, before we bring this analysis segment to a wrap, let's quickly look at Uganda. So, Mr. Delefani Momohuzi Kainerugaba is the son of President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled Uganda since 1986. Does announcing the presidential ambition this early, does it suggest that this could be some kind of succession plan? And Mohuzi also said that he expects to win with his father's support. Now, at what point does family influence in politics become a question of political succession rather than ordinary political support?
You recall that earlier in this conversation I said the penchant to want to replace old to replace old rulers with their children is always very high. I won't be surprised that Paul Biya will replace himself with his son because he's aged now. Jomo Kenyatta left and Uhuru Kenyatta came. Yoweri Museveni was the one installed when this man was chased out. There, Uganda. Now, he has spent since 80s till now. He's aged. He wants to replace himself with his son. That has always been the pattern, except for some exception in some African countries. But the ones that we are familiar with, that's what they do. You know? And what they do is to ensure they entrench one-party states, whereby there won't be any opposition other than all these activists that will be doing gra. And then after election, you find out that the person is so much loath will get 85 to 90% of the general votes. And you imagine somebody whose election culminated in the death of 540-something, clapping and celebrating that he won landslide election. So how do you reconcile that?
How then
it's always
do we
the pattern.
reconcile that? How do we reconcile that? Well, can I just get your final thoughts on this in just 1 minute, Okoyemi Ogunlami, concerning this case of Muhoozi taking over from his father, Yoweri Museveni?
Well, this is common to Africa, and politically, as I said, it's common to Africa. Is reflecting itself in Nigeria as well. And then I also look forward to this situation that when the current president will be through, in one way or the other, the son will also take over one state in Nigeria so that he will be given his own legacy. So we have people in Uganda. Bobby Wine is there. He's been contesting against the administration at election. He's been contesting against Museveni. And then they are still thinking this young man has done a lot of things and still mobilizing the country. Now the son, who was at the time, this current son, Muhoozi, he was at the time, he served as chief of this defense force for Ugandan People's Defense Force under his father. So it means that a lot of African youth whose parents had been in place of power are taking over and they are grooming their children to come up. And we've had that in Nigeria. That once a father becomes governor, he's grooming the child. Once a father becomes minister, he's grooming the child. This has been a system in Africa. But what I would say, to round it up, is African youth should stand up, regardless of where they belong. And that's why we are standing up in Nigeria. The reality needs to be done on us, and we need to stand to be responsible for our country.
All right.
So that this will not turn patrilineality in Africa.
Thank you very much. The youth should get up and fight for their rights. Thank you very much. Well, we've been speaking with Okoyemi Ogunlami, who is a public affairs analyst. We've also been speaking with Dele Fanimo, who is a veteran journalist and a political affairs analyst. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being a part of the African News.
Thank you for having me.
Well, moving on, the Higher Education Ministry in Kinshasa has ordered an immediate stop to all academic activities at 11 public universities across Goma and Bukavu. The shutdown follows a fierce political standoff after Rwanda-backed M23 rebels who control the region made their own management appointments at the state's institutions. Meanwhile, the central government states that they say the closure is vital to keep higher education within the law. M23 rebel leaders hit back on social media, accusing the state of weaponizing education and promising an alternative curriculum for students. The Democratic Republic of Congo has hit its deadliest week on record in the battle against history's fastest-moving Ebola epidemic. Fresh data released by the European Center for Disease Prevention and Control, ECDC, details a sharp spike of 72 new infections and 35 additional deaths within a single reporting window. It said the new infections centered aggressively in the conflict-ridden Ituri province, while the cumulative toll has now climbed to over 5,500 confirmed cases and more than 2,000 deaths. Furthermore, health agencies warn that because the outbreak involves the rare Bundibugyo strain, which lacks a widely licensed vaccine, the actual caseload may run 3 times higher than official figures indicate. Still in South Africa, the country's mining companies are accelerating their shift to renewable energy as they seek to reduce their dependence on the state-owned power utility, Eskom. Major mining firms are investing in wind and solar power to cut electricity costs, improve energy security, and reduce carbon emissions. The move comes as South Africa continues to depend heavily on coal for electricity, while mining companies face increasing pressure to adopt cleaner sources of energy. However, industry executives say Eskom will remain important to the mining sector as renewable sources such as wind and solar cannot provide a constant supply of energy. Now in business, Africa's largest telecoms operator, MTN Group, is exploring banking licenses in selecting markets as the company looks to expand lending from its own balance sheet. CEO Ralph Mupita said the firm is stepping up its push into fintech services to drive growth beyond traditional telecommunications revenue, with lending emerging as one of the fastest growing segments within its mobile money business. Peter told journalists that the telco is offering services as payments, e-commerce, and lending. He said the approach would be selective rather than implemented across all of the telecommunications operations, and that any move to balance sheet lending would be gradual given the risks involved. Mupita added that the company's plans to develop AI-enabled data centers in South Africa and Nigeria through Africa Data Hub Holding, a venture with an undisclosed UAE-backed investor to develop AI-ready data center infrastructure across key African markets. Eni says it is working with British Petroleum and Egyptian Petroleum Corporation EGPC to reach a final investment decision in the next few months regarding Egypt's recent discovered gas field, Dennis West. The Italian energy group said first gas from the offshore gas discovery, which was announced last April, could come in less than 2 years. And his chief executive, Claudio Descalzi, met Egypt's President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi in Cairo. The meeting was also attended by Egypt's Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouly and the Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Karim Badawi. Report says Descalzi and el-Sisi also discussed the status of Eni's Kronos gas development project in Cyprus offshore. And now to sports, the CAF Beach Soccer Africa Cup of Nations Senegal 2026 qualifiers draw has been held. 16 nations will compete for the 7 available places. Hosts and reigning champions Senegal have already secured their place at the tournament, which will be played from 7 to 15 November 2026. The 7 qualification spots will be decided through 2 rounds of home and away ties. The draw has produced exciting fixtures for the 16 engaged nations, with the first round featuring 4 teams as Mauritius play Angola and Kenya take on Libya. The first round opening legs will be played between 18 and 20 September, with the return legs scheduled for 25 to 27 September 2026. The team drawn first place in first leg at home. The two winners from the first round will advance to the second stage, joining the 12 exempted teams. The resulting 14 teams will then contest the second round. The first legs of the second round of qualifiers will be played from 9 to 11 October, followed by the return legs scheduled for the 16th of October to 8th of October, within the winners booking their places alongside hosts Senegal as the 8th nation tournament. And to wrap up the African news, Manchester United have signed Cameroon midfielder Carlos Baiba from Brighton in a £70 million deal. Baleba has signed a 5-year contract at Old Trafford with an option for a further year. United paid an initial £65 million plus £5 million in add-ons, and Brighton negotiated a sell-on clause. The 22-year-old called the move a real honor, joining the club of his dreams. Baleba made 112 appearances for Brighton since joining from Lille in 2023 and is currently sidelined with an ankle injury. And that's all on the African news. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV, on Facebook, VOP TV, and on other social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. If you witness news happening near you, we want to hear from you. Send your eyewitness reports, event coverage requests, photos, or videos directly via WhatsApp to 081-367-14129. You can also reach our newsroom by email at news@vop.ng. I am Praise Peters. Do have a good afternoon.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice. Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I, from social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The people's voice. Make your voice count.
Big news this year. Your favorite Voice of the People television station is now on free to air on Nigecomsat. All you need to do is align your dish using the following: orbit position 40.5 degrees east, 12.685 GHz, 30,000 kilobytes per second. Polarized vertical, frequency 2, 12.731 GHz, symbol rate 26,250 kilobytes per second. Polarization H. This works on any decoder. Catch up to 100 channels, sports, movies, news, all for free. This is with better quality at no extra cost. VOP TV on Free TV. Now you have more than a voice.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Arpillon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like I always say, if not 20 minutes off, please discuss.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Tinubu'S.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dili Utomi. Of course, this is the Maritime Frontier Show on VOP television. Today, we are talking about the goods clearing processes, the promoting efficiency within the logistics supply chain. And we have a guest at the studio. He is the a participator within the maritime sector. He's an operator. He's also a music director in a church, and he's well-versed, a young man who's well-versed with the activities within the maritime sector. His name is Kelechi Agu. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right.
Yeah.
Before we start with the discussion, the topic of the day, we have to take a look at one or two things that made the news in the course of the week. Bang! Apapa Area Command of Nigerian Customs Service records 28 billion naira revenue in one day. As Controller Oshoba stresses that every compliant transaction contributes to national development. The Nigerian Customs Service, NCS, Apapa Area Command, has continued in its historic revenue milestone. The command has generated 28 billion 102 million 914 naira 61 kobo only within 24 hours on Tuesday, 18th of August 2026, making it the highest single-day revenue collection ever recorded by the command. The feat surpasses the previous daily record of 20.1 billion naira achieved in September 2025, shortly after the assumption of office by the present Customs Area Controller, CAC Comptroller Emmanuel Oshoba. The new record comes barely weeks after the command achieved an unprecedented 323 billion naira monthly revenue collection in July 2026, further demonstrating the sustained impact of reforms, improved compliance, enhanced trade facilitation, intelligence-driven interventions, and the increasing efficiency of digital processes. According to Controller Oshoba, the achievement is not simply about figures or records, but about the contribution of the Nigerian Customs Service to the economic well-being of Nigerians. He noted that revenue generated by the service forms part of government resources used to fund public priorities, including infrastructure, security, education, healthcare, and other services that ultimately impact the lives of ordinary Nigerians. Controller Oshoba charged officers and men of the command not to become complacent, but to see the record as a responsibility to do more. He emphasized that revenue collection must be achieved alongside trade facilitation, professionalism, transparency, and respect for stakeholders, directing personnel to resolve legitimate disputes promptly and ensure that customs procedures do not unnecessarily hinder lawful businesses. Kelechi, the Apapa Area Command of Nigerian Customs Service just hit a target of 28 billion naira. That's a record.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's huge. The previous record was around 18 billion naira for one single day. That's a single day record, 28 billion naira. What do you think about it?
Well, the primary assignment of customs is to generate revenue for the government. So whichever way, whichever methodology they apply, is left to them. They must do their job. But as a matter of fact, we must also look at the circumstances that surround the generation of this revenue. You know, first of all, how convenient is it on those who are making these payments? These payments coming to the government or to the customs at the detriment of the taxpayers, the detriment of the players of the industry. However, one would say yes, the customs is hitting their targets. You know, because they have to play well to the master. So I must confess that those targets are huge. 20-something billion in a day is quite huge, you know. But we must also look into the fact that those who are making these custom duties, those who are paying these taxes at the ports to the customs, how do you guarantee the genuineness of these payments? It's not about hitting your targets. Are you hitting your target thereby spoiling businesses of others? Are you hitting your target thereby spoiling the standard of the economy? Because if somebody is bringing in a container or if somebody is having a shipment and customs is taking all the profits of the person's business, you know,
ultimately impacts on
exactly
the
end users.
Yeah,
exactly.
consumer.
And exactly. So there must be there must be a balance.
Consideration
exactly.
for the impact on the ordinary person's
absolutely, because we cannot give them round of applause when we know that before we give them kudos, we must check the economy. This target, is it affecting the economy either positively or negatively?
But you know, again here, I'm not holding forth for the government or the Nigerian Customs.
Yeah.
The Nigerian Customs Service is there only to carry out the dictates of the federal government. The federal government and the management team of the customs, they set targets for them. Because you are talking about targets.
Targets, yes.
They set targets for them, and then they ask us to go on ahead and
implement,
do their work and see if they can meet the targets. It's
yes.
not really their fault, but the fault of the people who give them those
yes,
targets.
As a matter of fact, you know, every worker or every employee must meet up to the expectation of his employer.
Yeah.
And an employee is not in a position to tell the employer if he's doing right or doing wrong. As an employee, you must go in line with the mandates of your employer. Sure. So, but now this boils down to the employer. Now, these targets you are setting for these agencies, especially the Nigerian Custom. Nigerian Custom is a vital department of the Nigerian economy.
Yeah.
Because whatever happens in terms of trade in Nigeria hovers around the customs, both imports and exports. Everything hovers around the customs. So, and if we're talking about, we can't talk about economy of a nation without trade. We can't talk about there are so many things we can't talk about of a nation without applying the concepts of trade. So when these targets are being set for these agencies, especially Nigerian Customs, we must look at the relative impact on the society. What would this bring to the economy?
Okay. So we'll talk more about that.
Yes.
Let's take a look at the other item event that made the news in the course of the week.
Okay.
The Nigerian Customs Service Ogun Command over the week made various items of illegal trade. In a press release in a press briefing by the acting Customs Area Controller Oladapo Afeni, he stated that he appealed to Nigerians to support the fiscal policies and embrace local agricultural products, particularly rice, to ensure self-reliance and potential for export. He says, today we are showcasing the visual proof of our vigilance. The items being paraded today include 2,339 bags of foreign parboiled rice, 70 cartons of basmati rice, 6,035 parcels of Ghana Loud Indica, 30 bags of foreign sugar, 50 kilograms each, 2,674 pieces of new shorts and trousers, 11,450 liters of PMS in kegs, 1,750 liters of PMS in drums, 30 kegs of diesels of 25 liters each, 100 bags of fertilizer, 67 bales of second-hand clothing, 2,674 pieces of new short trousers, 3,760 pieces of new top, 85 pieces of fire extinguishers, 480 cartons of pure heaven drinks, 53 packaged oats, 47 cartons of cosmetics, 36 packages of hair accessories, 3 packages of surgical shoes, 120 pieces of new purse, which with a total duty paid value of 3,574,435,248 naira 8 kobo. These are not just numbers, he said. These are millions of doses of devastation that would have otherwise flooded our communities, fueled violent crime, and ruined the lives of our youth. Our mandate as an enforcement agency is clear: intercept, seize, and arrest. However, the specialized war against drug abuse and trafficking is a relay race, he added. The victory lies in seamless interagency collaboration, as no single agency can secure our nation alone. Okay, see, this is another case of seizure of drugs and other items of, where the Nigerian government considers illegal.
NDLEA.
Yeah, contraband. What do you think about it? Because on this program, almost on daily basis and on weekly basis, we we take a look at things that have been seized, what do you think? Why do you think there's so much effort put in towards smuggling of items, especially illegal hard drugs?
Yes, I must first of all commend the NDLEA.
Okay.
I
Working
must,
with the
working with the
Nigerian
Customs. I must really commend them because smuggling is part of the, we can say is one of the things that could kill or shut down a nation. And most people would say, yes, because the economy is not good, Nigeria is not this, that. Therefore, they go into, for the fact that a nation is having some either economic challenges is not a criteria for crime. For the fact that the nation or the people are passing through economic hardship is not a criteria for shortcuts to success. So I must really commend, because despite the nature of the economy, anyone who is caught in the act of crime, irrespective, should be brought to book. So I must commend the Idiroko Command, Custom Service. I must also commend the NDLEA, because these things are part of the things that also kills the economy of the nation. So I'm in all angles, I'm very happy with this news. I'm impressed, and I will only want to tell the NDLEA and the customs at the borders to carry on with the good work.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. We are continuing with this program.
To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector, from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
Welcome back to the program. The topic for the day is how do we promote efficiency in the logistics supply chain? We know that most of the time when we come to this program, our guests talk about the impediments, things that form clogs in the wheel of efficiency, as in operating within the Nigerian the maritime sector. Mr. Agu, tell us, from your own experience, when the goods leave the source and the ship is bringing those cargoes to this country, what are the processes? Let's even go to the nitty-gritty of the process.
Okay, thank you. When we talk about supply chain, there are key factors that are paramount in supply chain.
Mm-hmm.
The first is procurement. The second is logistics. If there is a lacuna between procurement and logistics, it will be difficult to achieve a proper supply chain. Now, in Nigeria, there are so many factors that militate free flow or ease of supply chain. Number one, we can't have effective, because when we're talking about supply chain, there is timeline also.
Yeah.
Timeline is another factor. We can't have effectiveness if, for instance, we have gridlocks. Now, when a consignment leaves the country of origin,
yeah,
it is expected that as long as every consignment is coming into Nigeria, the receiving authorities in Nigeria must have gotten all the first-hand information. Take, for instance, if an aircraft is flying from Nigeria from Murtala Mohammed Airport to Heathrow, London, the receiving authorities in Heathrow is already aware that an aircraft is coming into their airport. Therefore, all apparatus must have been put in place to receive this aircraft and make sure landing is safe, make sure onboarding is safe. Now, the same should apply to maritime. Once a vessel has left the country of origin, despite the transshipment, wherever it will transship. But you know that on this vessel, we have so X amounts of containers coming to Nigeria. The moment the vessel is leaving, the customs and import processes ordinarily should have been done. All custom duty payment, because number one, you already know the value of the goods abroad. You know the freight cost, you know the insurance cost. As a matter of fact, from Nigeria here, we shouldn't be the one uploading the documents here. We should have the supplier at the country of origin uploading the documents for Nigeria to see. There you will have the actual declarations. Because some of the reasons why all these things delay is because some importers under declares or you know, so customs are always very meticulous in ensuring this. Exactly. So customs, Nigerian Customs Service are always meticulous in checkmating this. But the best way to go about this, if you don't trust your agents or your importers, as a matter of fact, we moved from RA to PA. Yeah. Are you getting what I'm saying?
That's pre-assessment and arrival report.
Pre-assessment arrival report. Before we had risk assessment report.
Arrival assessment report.
Yes. Now we can now say, okay, the shipper should upload the shipping documents online, not the importer through the bank, as the case may be. Then you will now see the actual declaration of everything, because you know those guys will not lie. Now, once that is done, you give your assessment. Custom duty is paid. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria, we wait for rotation number for the vessel to either arrive or be close to arrival before we get rotation number to pay custom duty. It's not supposed to be.
Okay.
The custom duty is supposed to be paid the moment we have on the Nigerian custom portal the commercial invoice of the consignment. So before your container arrives in Nigeria, you must have paid your custom duty, awaiting arrival. Now, when the container arrives in Nigeria, as they are offloading the container from the vessel, should pass through a scan process. Now,
that's in a situation where the whole process is automated.
Exactly. I'm talking about automating the system, because manual operations will only keep us having gridlocks.
Okay.
Delays. And before you know it, we are having situations where shipments are spending 8-9 days to 14 days due to irregularities. Terminal charges are increasing because of delays. And all of this, whether we like it or not, will still fall back and tell on the impact of the economy. Because an importer who has imported the goods spends too much on clearing the container out, will put it on his markup.
No, because there's a lot of people complain that there's so much efficiency within this system. Where lies the problem? Is it, let's talk about from when the ship berths at our port. Is it moving the goods from ship to shore, or the clearing processes, or moving it away from the port and then moving back the empty containers, or bringing in containers filled with the Nigerian goods to the shore? Where do we have the usual delays, the lacuna within the system?
I must tell you that moving the container from the ship to the shore is seamless.
Okay.
There are no, to the best of my knowledge, there are no delays, there are no issues with that. The major issue is in the process of custom clearance. We have some cases where, you know, during examination, they give you 3 days ahead. We have 3 days gone waiting for examination. If there are irregularities, you still spend some more days trying to solve those irregularities. Before you know it, they will say the exit note has expired. You still have to go and revalidate. So the process in the ports is where we have this delay. As a matter of fact, we can also have some delays when the containers have been loaded on the truck out to the importer, because one, you see, there are so many factors. For instance, a truck can be going along the road and maybe due to one thing or the other have a challenge, maybe due to management or something. There could be any issue on the roads of Nigeria that could also hinder return of containers. However, in the course of because one, the supply chain ends at the point of delivery.
Yeah.
Not at the point of returning the empty container. The supply chain starts from the procurement of the goods, the shipment of the goods, custom processes, delivery to final user or final importer.
No, but the return of the empty container is still part of what happens along the
supply
chain, the logistic chain.
Yes, the return of the container also is part of what happens along the logistic chain. Yes. But what I'm saying is that the supply itself ends at the delivery. Now, the logistic chain, yes, custom processes at the ports is one factor that militates, that hinders the success. Another is long time with trucking. In Nigeria, we have a challenge with our trucking system. I think the goods are more than the available trucks. In some cases, it's quite difficult to get a truck. In some cases, when you get a truck, it takes so long for the truck to get to find, especially if it's going outside Lagos.
But so in so many countries, especially the advanced countries, they do not rely only on road transportation for movement of goods and services.
Good.
Now. The waterways are there, the rail is there, even the local cargo planes. They make use of all the what they call multimodal means of.
Yes, I must tell you, the government, Nigerian government, I will confess to you, have tried their best in this. At least we have rail lines that are taking some containers. We have also barges. I must tell you, they have not done badly, but it's not enough. Because Nigeria is a dominant import country. And I must tell you that most of the importers, take for instance, an importer in Nnewi, there is no rail line from Apapa to Nnewi.
Of course not.
Somebody who is importing engines will have to get a truck to take it to Nnewi. The rail lines are not. You see, in Nigeria, there are some dominant commercial centers. Like in the east, we can talk about Anambra. In the north, we can talk about Kano. These areas should be looked into. Okay, can we run rail lines from Apapa Port to Kano? Can we run rail lines from Apapa Port to Onitsha? So that if you're an importer in Nnewi, you can pick up your container from Onitsha through the rail. It's even going to be cheaper. So these are the things. But the government have done their own bits. I know we have Lagos to Ibadan. I know there are some barges within Lagos to Ondo, I think so. Within Lagos. But we need to expand it. We need to expand it so that these things will be efficient for users. And also, if we have all these things working, it will be the load will not be too cumbersome on transporters. You would see somebody telling you he's looking for 100 trucks because he wants to move 100 containers. Why? When you can move all the 100 through rail.
Yeah.
So these are the things. So I think in this area, we would like the government to look into this. We would like them to look into this. Let us understand commercial centers in Nigeria. Anambra is one. Kano is one. You know, we can also look out for South. Port Harcourt is one. You know, then for the Southwest, yes, Lagos is one. Ibadan is also another. So if we can have these states connected by rail for commercial activities, it will really aid this the efficiency, I must assure you.
Now, going back to the ports, the Nigerian Ports Authority is the landlord at the ports, the owners of the ports. What do you think their role should be in order to, you know, promote efficiency within the system?
Nigerian Port Authority, yes, they are the landlord of the ports. But there are other stakeholders.
I know they've concessioned parts of the port, but they are still the owners.
Yes.
The ports are under, a lot of them are under concession.
Yes.
But they still supervise the activities.
Yes, they supervise the activity. I must tell you that, you see, the affair of infrastructure is the primary assignment of the government. And you know, we also have Nigerian Shippers Council.
Yeah, the economic regulator.
Yes. You see, everything must go pari passu. Same time together. The roads in the port, in as much as, yes, NPA are saddled with the responsibility to standardize the affairs of the port. But the government themselves, the Ministry of
Marine Economy.
Yes, the Marine Economy is the grand landlord of the ports arena. We can't just put the whole responsibility on MPA. They owe the assignment to recommend, propose, which I'm sure they are trying their best. But if you look at the nature of the ports now, the roads of the ports now, you would see that now and 10 years ago is a big difference. There was a particular time where people spent 2 days in that gridlock in Apapa. 2 days on a spot. But it's not the case now. The roads are being done. Dangote has done some parts. Some other people have done. The roads are, in as much as, yes, more can still be done. It's a work in progress. So, NPA has a lot of responsibility to focus on in our Papa ports and the, you know, they can only recommend that for us to have effectiveness, we need these roads done. We need, apart from even the roads, trucks. They have done so many things like the call-up process and all that. So, it's not the responsibility of NPA to award road contracts. They don't have that jurisdiction. What they can just do is to recommend to the ministry that we need to get this done for effectiveness. And it lies on the coffers of the ministry to accept or not. You know, NPA basically had to look at, okay, what are the things that will make operations here efficient? One, they should look at how to decongest the port. They should look at, they have so many things they have to look into.
You see, that is probably where the problem lies. The overlap in terms of responsibility. You talked about the congestion of the ports here now. And NPA has a part to play. The Nigerian Shippers Council has a part to play because they are the economic regulators. And right now, a lot of people complain that even empty containers are taking over most spaces within the port. And that is falls under the jurisdiction of the Nigerian Shippers Council.
Yeah.
Although we know that until about a few days ago, when the Emperor Bill, which will give them power to really punish airing operators, was signed by the president, they have been handicapped for a very long time. But let me even ask you, how far do you think, now that they've been given the power to really act and wield the big stick on operators, how well do you think that's good. If how effective do you think they are going to be right now?
Well, you see, let me tell you something. Without monitoring, if you just put up a policy and there is, after a while, you become complacent about it, it won't stand the test of time. So for you to be effective enough, you must put in manpower to ensure it and enforce it. One, there are so many, like you mentioned, we have empty containers in the port. The question is why? Why? Those containers can be filled with Nigerian commodities for export. That's the truth. So, if this agency...
Well, you also said that Nigeria is import-dependent nation. Of course, that's true. So why can't we find ways of filling this? Because we know that we export a lot of raw materials.
Yes. Even know what to export. Most people don't even know how to even go about getting a buyer. So the thing is that I think there is need for, because most people see that, okay, everything we are using here is imported. All your phones are imported. All your stuffs are imported. I can tell you that only the Aba market alone, if the government looks into that sector, if the government can use Aba as a case study, we can export our materials from Aba that will generate nothing less than 3 trillion for Nigeria in a year. Only from Aba. All they need is empowerment. If the government, you see, let me make us understand something. Nation building is everybody's assignment.
Sure.
It's not only the assignment of the government. Even private individuals. I'm talking about Aba because I've heard a lot about the commercial place. I've been there. I've been to the area market. And apart from hides and skin, apart from leather, there are so many other things they do there. That Aba market alone can generate for the government nothing less than 3 trillion in a year. Now leave Aba market. In Nigeria, in the southwest, cocoa is the order of the day. We will discover that the exporters of these commodities have been in this industry for a long time. I wouldn't want to use the word monopolize. But there is no sensitization on the fact that you can do this thing for export. Look at groundnut. Let's talk about groundnut. We just have the idea that we grow groundnut for our own consumption. Nobody has thought that we can take this groundnut, we can export these groundnuts. Let us now look at other commodities. In the East, palm oil. People are doing this. As a matter of, as we speak, there are a lot of exporters moving this product. But is it enough to sustain our economy? The answer is no. Because one, funding is not efficient for, or is not enough for people. To
mass produce this thing.
Exactly, to mass produce and even export it. And also there is no connection. People don't know how to, okay, I have this product, I have this palm oil. Where do I get a buyer?
The different channels.
How do I get a buyer? Some people might say, okay, will I export this and I won't get scammed? People need to be oriented. People need to be informed about these things. Okay. So that is why we are not having a balance. I can tell you that if Nigeria invests 40% of what we are investing on imports, if we invest it on exports, our story will be a different thing. We won't be speaking the language of economic crunch that we are speaking now.
Okay. Let's go back a little bit to the issue of promoting efficiency within the port system. I know the various government agencies that have that are sort of regulatory bodies. Is it NEMASA? Is it MPA? Is it Nigerian Shippers Council? Is it NIWA? Is it any other agency that has a role to play within this sector? Do you think they are really optimizing the what's it called, the resources that they have at their beck and call, and in order to bring optimal benefits to the country?
I must tell you that these agencies, yes, they are trying their best, but I think I wouldn't want to use the word they are not doing enough. Take, for instance, Nigerian Shippers Council.
Okay. This is just a wrap up because
yes.
out of time.
I must tell you that Nigerian Shippers Council is doing their best, but not enough. Because Nigerian Shippers Council is expected to ensure that the process of shipping to delivery is not hindered. They ought to look into these things. Look at also NIMASA. I will tell you that, yes, it's possible information about what they are doing might not be disclosed, but there are so many ways that they could do better.
Okay.
I won't want to be saying it on air so that I won't.
No, but you can say it on air. That's why
if they need the secrets, they should invite us and consult us. We will we'll be glad. Now, you see, let me tell you something. These agencies are actually doing their best. Like, you can see the efficiency of the Nigerian Shippers Council. If we look at policies, there are some policies that they have made that have actually standardized operations in the port. We are talking about government agencies. I don't know, every time we look at government, what about we? We have NAGAF. We have so many. We have CRFFN. That concerns the freight forwarders. These are the guys that are playing in the industry. What is the synergy between NAGAF and Nigerian Shippers Council? Because they are the ones to take these queries to them and say, look at what we expect of you.
Okay, so what you are saying in essence is that every aspect of all players, both government agencies and the private agencies, should all put hands on deck in order to create a better efficiency within the port sector.
Exactly.
Thank you so very much for coming today,
Thank you.
Mr. Kelechi
Thank
Ago,
you.
the director of music at Bakma Choir, Gowon Estate, and of course a professional freight forwarder within the Nigerian Post maritime system. It's been the Maritime Frontier Show on VOP Television with Dele Utomi. We talked today about how to promote efficiency within the port system. Stay tuned again next week for another edition of the program. Thank you so very much for watching us. Have yourself a wonderful week ahead.
Hi guys, my name is Stanley, aka Mazinze, aka Chie Billy Billy, aka Obako 181 of Benin, and this is VOP TV. Keep it locked.
Hi everyone, my name is Zakil Dabela, and a big shout out to VOP TV. Yeah, please keep watching. God bless you.
My name is Adeyola, executive producer at Joshiko to the Garden. Shout out to VOP TV. Thank you for having us.
Hi guys, big shout out to VOP TV. Akim Ogara say so.
Hi, my name is Michael Edjo. I'm an actor, a director, and a host, and you are watching VOP TV.
Hello everyone, my name is Anita Oluwole. Keep watching VOP TV. Stay subscribed. Do not change that dial.
Hi, it's your girl, it's no side Demudia saying keep watching VOP TV. That's the voice of the people TV.
Hi, my name is Heaven Sobule. I'm an actor, a film producer, and a casting director. And shout out to the best of the baddest, VOP TV.
Hi, my name is Motunde Adeyemo. Keep watching VOP TV.
This is Ashtelba and you're watching VOP TV.
A big shout out to VOP TV. You guys are doing an amazing job. Keep up the good work. We love you and keep us entertaining.
Hi everyone, my name is Anne Irish Phillips and you're watching VOP.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Africa is on the move, a continent of rising voices, untold stories, and powerful transformations. From the streets of Lagos to the heart of Nairobi, from the mines of Congo to the tech labs of Cape Town, the African story is being written every day. Bold, dynamic, unstoppable. This is African News on Voice of the People Television. We don't just bring you the news. We analyze and bring you Africa's heartbeat, the politics that shapes our nations, the economies that drives our future, the cultures that defines who we are, the voice that must be heard. Africa News, Africa's voice, Africa's future. Where Africa speaks, the world listens.
Do you want your voice to be heard? Do you know that you matter in the scheme of things? The People's Voice, the show where ordinary citizens take center stage as we discuss the biggest stories that affect you and I. With you in mind, we facilitate lively discussions, debates, and interviews on the topics that matter most to you and I. From social justice to economic empowerment, education to healthcare, governance, and more. Tackling tough topics and amplifying your voice. Join the conversation and make your voice count. The People's Voice. Make your voice count.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
For many Nigerians, the commencement of the 2027 election campaign marks the beginning of a critical period in the country's political calendar. While political parties are preparing to sell their candidates and manifesto to the electorate, voters say they want more than campaign promises. From the economy and employment to insecurity, education, healthcare, and infrastructure, Nigerians are looking to the presidential aspirant for clear and realistic solutions to the challenges confronting the country.
Like this, as Nigeria dey like this, nobody dey happy. Even me, you know, say me at the drama marwa, I know how much I dey buy for every day. I know they happy. This our president, he no try at all for me. I don't know another person. So for me to vote for her, I no go try am. I would like to vote for person where he fit Nigeria. Like Peter Obina, the man. For me, my spirit, the catcher that he dey okay for us. to rule Nigeria.
Beyond political rallies and promises, some voters say they expect candidates to explain how their proposed policies will improve life of ordinary Nigerians. They want campaigns to be issue-based, peaceful and free from ethnic or religion sentiment, with candidates focusing on what they intend to do differently if elected.
The last 1 year, they have not done anything. There is a bad road everywhere. So education was bad. All these schools, there's nothing to show about it. So what are we voting for? I cannot vote. Now God will be the next president for Nigeria. Now God will control Nigeria. I know that God knows, but God will touch one person's mind. Let the people that are there, they should set aside. Then let another young people to be there.
Politicians are like the part that will never change their color. So we only ask that God will not touch their hearts. They can promise heaven and earth. What they want to do is in their minds. So nobody can change that except God intervene.
As the race officially gets underway, the question for the aspirants is not only who can win the election, but who can convince Nigerians that the leadership will deliver meaningful change. Oyindamola Olukuto, Voice of the People TV.
If you've been drinking, don't drive. Hand over the keys to another driver. Call a friend or family member. Use a taxi or a ride-hailing service. Wait until you're completely sober before getting behind the wheel. A few minutes of inconvenience is far better than a lifetime of regret. Friends, don't stand by in silence. If someone who has been drinking insists on driving, speak up. Offer an alternative. Taking away their keys could save a life. Driving is our responsibility, not a right. Every time you take the wheel, you're responsible for the safety of everyone on the road. Today, make the choice that protects lives. Celebrate responsibly. Think before you drive. If you drink, don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. Because every life matters and every safe journey begins with the right decision. This message is brought to you by Voice of the People Television.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check only on Voice of the People Television, where your health has a voice.
That 10 seconds you save by crossing the road could cost you your life. Pedestrian bridges are built for one reason: to keep you safe. They are free, they are strong, and they are there to protect you. Dashing across expressways leads to injuries, loss, and grief that last forever. Using the bridge takes less than 1 minute. Losing a loved one lasts a lifetime. Parents, teach your children. Drivers, slow down near bridges. Everyone, please use the pedestrian bridge every time. Your life is worth the climb. This message is from Voice of the People's Television.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
In Nigeria's most complex city, 22 million people wake up every day needing one thing: safety. And for that, they look to one institution and one kind of leader. This is the story of a man who believes policing begins not with force but with trust. Assistant Inspector General Olorundare Moshood Jimoh was born August 10, 1971 in Ilorin, Kwara State. Raised in a disciplined home, a military father, a trading mother, he learned early order, resilience, and hard work. He studied political science at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Then in 2000, he joined the Nigeria Police Force as a cadet assistant superintendent, trained at the police academy in Woodhill, Kano. From his first posting, one thing set him apart. He chose dialogue over intimidation. He believed trust was a tool of policing.
Contributions of the state government to ensure that we are up and doing in carrying out our duty and other responsibility. The component of the state government in everything we do was very, very huge. And that is why when it comes to the local government election, we had an election for the 20 local government area, and that is 7 LCDA, without any scratch on anybody. No ballot box was snatched, no any official were attacked, no any electorate were molested. Everything went on peacefully. And at the end of the day, we ensured security before, during, and after the election.
By 2017, he became the first public relations officer of the Nigeria Police Force. As a certified member of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, NIPR, Jimoh changed how the police spoke to Nigerians. Factual, measured, transparent, he introduced on-site press parades, giving verified details straight from crime scenes, not to sensationalize, but to inform and deter. For this, he was named Presidential Public Relations Personality of the Year because he proved a simple truth. Communication handled truthfully is as powerful as enforcement. His career spanned operations and diplomacy. Deputy Commissioner in Oyo, Commissioner at Eastern Port Harcourt. He served in the African Union Peacekeeping Mission in Darfur, Sudan, earning commendations for courage and restraint. He trained in counterterrorism at the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, crime prevention in Seoul, South Korea, and smart governance in China. For Jimoh, training is not routine, it is preparation.
Without the storm, we have faced a challenge that is even far, far beyond this. It's only for those who may be in a haste to believe what they feel they want to believe. But if you draw your mind back and even Google my name, you see a lot of achievement that we have recorded to the glory of God for the Nigerian Police Force.
In March 2026, he was decorated and promoted to Assistant Inspector General of Police, taking command of Zone 2, Lagos and Ogun State. And recently, he was recognized as the most outstanding anti-crime police chief in West and Central Africa for 2025. Today, AIG Olorundare Jimoh leads with a philosophy he repeats to every officer. Discipline is the beginning of public trust. He believes policing must be intelligence-led, proactive, and service-driven. From cadet to AIG, his journey shows what reform looks like, not in speeches, but in integrity, consistency, and accountability. In a time when many fear the police, AIG Olorundare Jimoh reminds us of what the police can be: intelligent, ethical, human.
Nigerians, your voice matters, and in 2027 it starts with your permanent voters card, your PVC. If you're 18 and above and you're a Nigerian citizen, you have the right to choose who leads your community, your state, and your country. But that right only counts if you have your PVC and your name is on the voter register. Here's what to do. First, check if you're registered. If you're not, or if you've moved, lost your card, or turned 18 since the last election, go to the nearest INEC office or an INEC registration center. Second, It's free. Don't pay anyone for any registration or collection. Third, collect your PVC early. Don't wait until the week before elections. INEC will announce dates. Listen to radio, TV, and follow INEC's official pages. Your PVC is more than plastic. It's your power to hold leaders accountable. It's how you decide on roads, schools, hospitals, and jobs for your community. When you vote, you decide the future of your children. Get registered. Get your PVC. Vote in 2027. For Nigeria to work, you must be a part of it. Your vote, your future, your responsibility.
This message is brought to you by Voice of the People, VOP Media.
Welcome to the locker room, the home of football talk that matters. I am Jerry Apelhon. Join us every weekday, Monday to Friday at 5 p.m. Nigerian time, as we share the hot takes and hot debates in the exciting world of football. And joining me are the usual suspects, Ikechukwu and Mayowa, as we break down all the hot takes and everything that's happening in the football. Don't just watch football, live it with us. Catch us on the locker room and Voice of the People television at 5 p.m. Nigerian time. And like they always say, if not 20 minutes off, with the sport.
And it's Hakim Ziyech who puts the
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures, both serving and former governors, ministers, senators, legislators, party chieftains, activists, and analysts. Get first-hand information into the decision-making processes that affect our daily lives. Highly engaging one-hour program that brings political discourse into focus.
I am Chukwuma Okoro.
Political Lens, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Join us. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People television. Don't just react, understand. When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Floyd Igbo. Keep watching VOP TV.
All right, welcome back, and we sincerely apologize for that particular break in transmission, but we're here now, and we need to get it started afresh. All right, it is People's Voice on Voice of Television, Western Story Shape, the narrative, and of course, today we're dissecting a major conversation that is dominating the headline and sparking conversation across the nation. Tinubu'S APC threatens Nigerians over votes. Atiku calls them thieves. Join the conversation with expert insights, answers, and perspectives. Share your thoughts with us. I am Savior Udo. Let's look into our news stories with details. Umahi fought Benin Nasaba road contractor over gridlock. Works Minister David Umahi has accused BAECC, the contractor on the Benin Asaba Expressway, of incompetence. During the inspection on Tuesday, Umahi said the firm removed asphalt without building side drains, calling it destruction of public assets. He ordered sanctions for contractors who do same without approval. ECC CEO Samuel Daramola blamed rain and traffic for delays, while Edo State government said Benin Ore and Benin Agbo roads were still under construction. All right, we actually expected, this particular, blame game, just like I said yesterday. And of course, we actually played a lot of, video footages as regards to that particular conversation. And all we're saying is no one is, asking the federal government not to build new roads, but we have to fix the old ones. We have to fix the ones that are bad. We have to fix the ones that are not even, are okay at all. How can, you use about 2 to 3 days for a journey of just 6 hours? If roads were actually okay, Lagos to Benin was meant to be 4 hours. That's the truth. So between Lagos to Delta State, that was meant to be 6 hours, why should I use 3 days? So if the government would come in and blame contractors, and contractors now is blaming, the rain, then who should the rain blame? But regardless of that, we just hope that the government will actually get this particular one better. Away from that particular one, Kingibe accuses Wike of taking FCT loans without National Assembly approval. The FCT Senator Ireti Kingibe has accused Minister Nyesom Wike of borrowing for the FCT without National Assembly approval. Speaking at a media party, Kingibe cited DMO records showing FCT loans from August 2023 to March 2026. She said Wike has not sought Senate approval and only appears before the FCT committee, adding that she has reported the issue to Senate leadership. All right, just like we would say, is it possible for anybody to actually hold Wike accountable when he has the president's backing? It's just a question. To join the conversation, kindly call the number 08138714129, 08138714129. Follow us on social media at VOBTV Live. You can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOBTV, and of course on YouTube with Voice of the People TV. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. It is time for us to go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we're dissecting the conversation here. Tinubu'S APC threatens Nigerians over votes. Article calls them thieves. Don't go nowhere, please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the program on the People's Voice on Voice of the Television. A viral video sparked outrage on Tuesday after Amnesty International Nigeria condemned Akuje Area Council Chairman Samuel Danjuma Shekwolo for telling residents to do APC or leave. The group called it an attack on freedom of association and urged police and DSS to intervene. The ruling party announced it will resume e-membership registration nationwide on August 31st. A spokesman, Felix Moka, said the goal is to digitalize record. Opposition party dismissed it. ADC Bolaji Abdullahi warned against using membership figures to rig elections, while NDC and Labour Party said their portals never closed. The ADC candidate Atiku Abubakar reaffirmed he would restore targeted fuel subsidy and accused the Tinubu administration of worsening hardship. We are competing with thieves. So he said, they stole the election, now they have stolen the economy, they have stolen everything, Atiku said. NDC candidate Peter Obi also urged Nigerians to reject an absentee president in 2027, saying the country needs a leader who is present and responsive. Of course, analysis shows 33 states spent at least 512.10 billion in the first 6 months of 2026 on government houses and travels. which is about 4,713 times governors' combined salaries. This is Nigeria. We're now being joined by Mr. Elvis Elimihele, a journalist, a political and public affairs analyst, a member of the Guild of Public Affairs Analysts of Nigeria. You're welcome on board again, sir.
Good afternoon, Saviour.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
I think officially we've really missed you on the show.
Again.
How has it been, sir?
It's good.
All right. I think we have so many fronts to pick the conversation, from today.
Absolutely.
But we're also being told that Bolaji Oluwatosin, Esquire, would be joining the program as well, who is a constitutional lawyer and social analyst. But as soon as he joins the program, we would, bring him up to speed as regards to the conversation. Now, the Kuje vote or leave a threat. This chairman actually said that if you are not doing APC, if you're not going to vote for APC, leave. What do you think about this particular statement? Is this about intimidation? Is this about, trying to exercise, your power over the people of Kuje since you are the chairman? Because if we are to look at, if we are to look, at, what has been happening in the past with the do or die situation, you would agree with me that, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, called 2007 a do or die election, if you remember, and political intimidation at local government level is not new. We've seen it over time, and this has been happening, back to back. But this time around, the reason why it is even more disturbing, it has gone beyond, just a rhetoric. It is now looking, should I even use the word now looking? It is now an official threat. Because we saw the Osun election, Mr. Elvis, where a sitting senator literally says, if you see the members of this particular party, kill them. Now, another APC chieftain in Ikire also mentioned that if you know you are not going to vote for APC, don't bother stepping out of your house on that particular Saturday in Osun. And Mr. Elvis, today, we are getting another one at the local government level saying if you are not going to vote for APC, in this whole area, the people that voted you in, they should pack and leave. If they don't leave, what is going to happen to them?
Saviour.
I don't know if you want us to take the video. No, this is the statement.
I've seen the video. I've gotten the video. You see, this is a constitutional breach. This is something that the whole world, Nigerians in diaspora, and Nigerians that are living here, and every civil society organization, both local and international, should condemn. What we are toiling with here, Saviour, is like what started in Rwanda gradually in 1992-93 before the genocide now broke out in 1994. And you know what played out in Rwanda, where it took Rwanda to.
Yeah.
That's what we are playing with here. We are talking about South Africa bringing Nigerians back. And what is different from what he has just said? But you know what? This thing began with APC. It began since APC came into this country as leadership of this nation, that Nigerians are now like, I have to look at my back to know where I will live or where I will stay. When their former president, the late president, said those that voted him into power, 95% and 100% that voted into power, that he was going to look at those people that voted into power first before every other person. We thought it was a joke. Talking of late President Buhari, he went further to say a dot in a circle, use it to describe one of the ethnic regions of this country. We thought it was a joke because there were no impunity. It cascaded down to when we saw a monarch in the southwest here said so certain tribe can be thrown into the lagoon if they refuse to do the needful. Then we got down to when, in 2023 general election, we saw what happened to when Mama Chukwudi and MC Olomo issue. We thought it was a joke. We went further to see what we saw, how a woman on the queue to vote for another political party in 2023 general election was stabbed. That video is everywhere. We still played with it. It's normal. Then before we saw the Osun issues, the issues we just mentioned.
No,
Senator
Mr. Ives, before that of the Osun, don't forget that there was a particular Sheikh Jingar.
Sheikh Jingar, yes,
in Kano.
Yes, that one came up. We played about it.
And nothing was done.
Nothing is done. I don't even want to start talking about all the Gumi speaking, all this why. Then here now, they say the senator said it. Oh, it's normal. We brushed this aside. Now a local government chairman is giving warnings to people who live in the center of unity of this nation, Federal Capital Territory, that if you don't vote my own political party, be ready to leave. Where is this freedom of association in this nation?
Which is section 40
in the constitution.
Section 40 of the 1999 constitution.
The grand norm of this nation. And where is the freedom of choice in democracy? Yes, I can sit with you here, but we have different political
party and opinion, yes, and ideology.
Where was that not coming? Then remember that the local government chairman who gave this warning, his office is serviced by Nigerian taxpayers' money. The same taxpayers is warning. And we are still going to brush this aside. By the time we now get into the situation of Rwanda, that's when Nigeria will now realize that we have all these things have been building up over the years, and it was not curbed. Can we manage it? Almost everything that comes to APC government be taken for granted because they belong to the ruling party. Is it the first time we've seen ruling party in this nation? We have had MPN that pride themselves as the biggest party then in Africa. We have PDP that also did the same. Here we are in APC, a different trajectory entirely, and we are going to brush this aside again. I think if this was said by other political party persons,
I was going there, Mr. Evans.
By now, the ICPC, EFCC, and all the Cs in this nation would have activated their function and know that they have a role to play. And this same chairman is still sitting in the office. Nobody has invited him. He has not been suspended.
The senator is still working freely as well.
The senator, yeah, and
the chairman is so, yes.
Nobody has suspended them. Nobody has invited them for questioning. This is condemnable. And if they cannot be invited by the ruling party's security paraphernalia, Nigeria should condemn it and call on Amnesty International and other civil society in the world to join hands with Nigerians to condemn this. Because where we are heading to, where this is going to lead us to, might be something we cannot manage. The people he is warning, if you are talking about the achievement of APC, everybody in APC, are they using their personal money? Whatever achievement they are recording for APC, is President Ahmed Bola Tinubu using his personal money? Is Wike using his personal money? Is it not the money of Nigerians? And 70% of this money, where is it coming from? Is it not coming from the Niger Delta of this nation? Who is even supposed to be playing the card of ethnicity and say, come, we don't even want our money to be used for other part of this nation? If not the Niger Deltans. Why is a local government chairman that is supposed to be talking of unity? And what is the motto of Abuja? Center for Unity. Is it not Abuja, FCT? Then, last week, remember they signed the peace accord. Peace accord came up with kangaroo kind of signing. And their political party was not even represented there. The president always sent a surrogate. And now look at what somebody from that political party is saying. Has that not demystified the signing of the peace accord that we saw with all the jamborees of last week? I think this is condemnable. Nigerians must come out and speak against this. The whole world must look into it that trouble is brewing somewhere if this is not curbed. Because this ethnic profiling that we have, has become so prevalent in this nation, if we allow it to fester beyond this time, beyond this situation we are going through, we might end ourselves in Rwanda. And you know what that means.
Mr. Elvis, what legal consequences should this particular chairman face? Perhaps under Electoral Act, and of course, the Constitution for threatening voters. What should be done? Because it is looking like we're sweeping a lot of things under the carpet, just like you mentioned. Now, of course, I was to get to that particular point of asking you, what if this was actually coming from any opposition party? The law would have...
By now, they would have activated their law.
The law would have really worked well.
Yes.
But when we get to this particular, kind of situation, where we know that almost all the people that were meant to hold some people accountable is presumed and allegedly on the side of the ruling party. So what should be done? How should we hold this particular man, accountable? And what should be done as regards to consequences for this statement?
Nigerians, especially Nigerians in FCT, by now should be talking on how to hit the street and protest the removal of this suspension of this very particular chairman, local government chairman, because center of unity, everybody owns Abuja, especially if you are a citizen of this nation. It belongs to every one of us. The Federal Capital Territory belongs to everybody. Anywhere in this nation that you want to settle according to the Constitution, you have the right to settle. So somebody saying that you will be thrown out because if you don't vote our political party, because of what our political party have done, why did the political party voted into power in the first instance? Is it not for them to meet the needs, yearning and aspiration of Nigerians by, executing projects that are going to be beneficial to Nigerians? So if a political party now comes and do that same responsibility that is legally, assigned to them, what should not be the overwhelming matter that it has got to a level that it has not got into threat to citizens, that you don't have right now to say, this is the party I belong and this is the party I will vote for? Don't you know where this one is taking us to? That by the time we get to 2027 general election, there might be miscreants planted at the polling booths to now begin to attack people if this is not curbed. I want Nigerians to begin to react to this. Nigerians will get to the street and condemn this. Because what Nigerians are suffering in South Africa today that they are coming back is not different from what he has just said.
All right.
It's not different.
Thank you so much, Mr.
We
Helvis.
call that one xenophobia. What do we call this one? Homophobia. Because this is happening at all.
Okay. All right, let me bring in the virtual guest, Bolaji Oluwatosin Esquire, a constitutional lawyer and, of course, a social analyst. Bolaji, good afternoon to you. I'd like you to unmute your device if you can hear me. Hello, Bolaji, can you hear me?
Yes, I think I have unmuted.
Okay, how are you doing today?
Yes, I'm doing pretty fine.
Bolaji, it's been a while. Welcome on board. Have you been following the program?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Quite
all right.
quickly.
Yes. So basically, we are still back to this particular conversation of the ruling party threatening, voters. And of course, it was done in Osun at the just concluded election. Now, it is being amplified from Abuja now, which we don't know how far it would go, because I had the House of Rep NDC candidates of Surulere Constituency 1 yesterday, and she brought our attention, which is making rounds on Nigerian dailies and of course on X, where it is the new normal now that APC are using state agencies to remove every Peter Obi and Kwankwaso's banner wherever they see it in the name of, agencies. And we saw that particular one happen. Now, we're getting a local government, a chairman threatening the people of that particular, local government that if you don't vote for APC, you better leave. And the question is, what would happen if they don't leave? Amnesty International called, for police and DSS intervention. Do you think security agencies will actually act? Or is this a selective enforcement? And the reason why I want to talk about, how heavy this particular one is. After the 2011 election, if you remember, Over 800 people, died in post-election violence. This is why Amnesty and, of course, rights groups are strongly, talking about this particular threat. They are not taking it lightly. But if you look at the situation, Sheikh Jingar mentioned, something that can consume a nation, being, a clergy, and was not called to order by the presidency. Meanwhile, Bishop Onayekon only said Nigerians were hungry. The whole presidency came for him. That being said, in Osun, a sitting senator said, if you see accord members, eliminate them.
Kill them.
He was invited, which we saw how he strode into, the CID office in Osun, Osogbo to be precise, and he strode out again in less than how many hours. And after then, that was the end of the conversation. Another APC chieftain in Ikire said, if you know you are not going to come out to vote for APC, don't bother stepping out on that election day. Barrister, I want you to look at this and tell us legally, where do we stand in this country? How safe are we as Nigerians? Is this still democracy? Or should we wait for a savior to help us?
Thank you greatly. It's been quite a long time, and I must say it's good to see you again, sir. Yes, straight to the subject of our convergence this very evening on VOP TV. I think it is important that I start by condemning these very comments by the chairman who was elected by the Nigerian people, who are constituents of a certain local government in the federal capital territory, Abuja. It is sad what he has done is unconstitutional. What he has done has, no coverage within the laws that exist in Nigeria. The Nigerian constitution, which is the gun norm, guarantees that every citizen has freedom of association. Every citizen has right to hold and express opinions, especially political opinions, and they have liberty to reside in any part of the federation. And it is not in the place of any elected official, however elevated that person may be by, transient favor of an election. That person does not possess the right, the temerity to even utter such statements. Let me quickly draw attention to the fact that it did not start today. The MC Oluomo, who currently is in Abuja, used to be in Lagos State here. 2020-23 elections, MC Oluomo threatened that if the Igbos would not vote for Tinubu in Lagos, he threatened a whole lot. What happened? Nothing. And that is the fear that many Nigerians have. We do not have institutions that are independent enough, to functional institutions that are independent enough to bring people to book. This guy who is elected as chairman of the local government in Abuja should immediately be invited by, if not just the Nigerian police, but by the DSS. Because what he is doing is not just trying to stifle people's right to express their opinion, people's right, to associate with political parties or associations, but what he is doing is trying to cause conduct that will cause breach of peace amongst Nigerians. He wants Nigerians to perpetually live in fear. He boldly said on national TV that if you are not a member of the APC, or if you are not supporting the APC, where the minister resides and where the president himself resides, he said there's no reason why he should come to vote or be around his local government. That local government is not his father. Permit me to say, it's not his father's personal property. He is only elected to represent the people, and it is not in his, within his powers to express his personal desire for self-glorification, or so that the president will see that he is working. It is undemocratical and it is bad, and Nigerians as a people, we must condemn this act. And I believe that this is a call to the Nigerian police, this is a call to the DSS to call onto this man who is trying to disrupt our hegemony and our democracy in this country. And to Senator Fadausi, I'm excited that the Amnesty International took it up against him. And it is sad again that, as usual, he walked into, the police facility where he was
CID.
invited.
Yes, CID.
Yes, and he walked out. I know the very CID you are talking about. He walked in and walked out because it has become business as usual. They see this country as their inheritance, and they think they can wake up one morning, threaten Nigerians, and go scot-free. It is because we don't have functional system. And I hope they make a scapegoat out of this chairman who sits in Abuja there and thinks he's as high as a dictator in the military government.
All right, thank you so much, Abolaji, for that particular one. And now let's talk about, let me stay with you before I bring it back to the studio. Let's talk about this APC membership and 2027 strategy. The APC says, the e-membership registrations starting from August 31 is to digitalize their record, How credible is that? Or can this membership data be used to rig election, as ADC alleges? Because you would agree with me that nobody were meant to do all of this again if we're to follow, the INEC guidelines. But with what they are saying, they're trying to make a case and, of course, to take briefs for themselves and giving us reasons why they have to, open portals and all of that. Now, if we're to talk about, this same situation that has happened in the past between 2021 and 2022, almost the same situation happened as regards to their revalidation of membership then, which opposition also criticized as a way of inflating numbers ahead of primaries. Now we're back at this particular, situation. Do you think APC is trying to rig this election in every way?
My understanding of
Bolaji, are you there? Oh, I think he's having a network glitch. I'll bring it back to the studio. Okay, I think it's back. Bolaji, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, please.
So
I'd like you to drop it out.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
My understanding of what the APC is that it is a political party that is merely interested, in seizing Nigeria onto itself, and they will do anything. They will go to any length to bend any laws that exist, just as they have always done, in the interest of protecting their political party. Are we against these people protecting their political party? No. But are we against them bending the laws and breaking the laws in doing this? Yes, we will stand against them anytime, any day. And in this instance, what they seek to do, in my opinion, is not, in line with what the laws have declared. So I believe strongly that the APC, in their trade and style, will go on to do it because they know that they will do anything and go scot-free, just as they have always done.
All right. Thank you so much, Bolaji. Let me bring it back to the studio where we have Mr. Elvis Elimihele. Mr. Elvis, I want to reiterate that statement from Atiku again. It says that it would return the targeted fuel subsidy and calls APC thief. Is a targeted subsidy, even possible in Nigeria with our current, economy situation? Because if you remember, the same Atiku Abubakar, as at the time, said it was, a removed subsidy. Subsidy will be gone, just like the president did. And Mr. Peter Obi also said subsidy will be gone. So why is he back at it now?
Well, if Atiku says he's going to bring back subsidy, probably he was in government and he knows so much about governance. Let me tell you, Savior, if really we were truthful to ourselves in that subsidy, you will agree with me that what the federal government was actually paying was not up to, ideally, what the federal government ought to be paying is not up to the figures that they started brandishing, 4 trillion and all others. Do you understand? Yeah, there were some differences that the federal government felt, okay, we could manage. One, there was no transparency in the quantity of liters that is consumed daily, domestically in this nation. The figures has been hyper, fluctuating. Sometimes they tell you 60,000, 6 million, or 60,000 liters a day. Sometimes they tell you 50, sometimes they tell you 30, sometimes they tell you 28. There was no accurate figure that one could lay his hand on. 2, we didn't even know the number of dealers or whatever that were licensed that were bringing in this petroleum that's now, where the subsidy got accumulated to the level that we're paying as much as 3 trillion, 4 trillion. We did not know the number. And we didn't even know the quantity each of them were bringing in that was allocated for them to bring in. And these are supposed to be done by NNPC, because these people ought to have been registered through NNPC. But because there were so much corruption in the system, that's why we got to that level that it got to a time that the federal government was almost using everything that they were making to pay subsidy. But fast forward to these articles, oh, I'm going to remove it, I'm going to bring it, and whatever. Let me tell you, if article is talking about bringing back fuel subsidy, it should first of all talk about sanitizing the system. If we remain in this same NNPC we are, and this downstream and upstream sector, that's what they call that their agency. If we remain with this same kind of we're not going to get the truth. It's going to burn his hand. Because look at all the group CEO of NNPC that have left over subsequently. Look at the humongous amount of money that have been, traced to them from EFCC and all of that. That's part of what we are seeing. That Nigerians were paying, Nigerian government was paying for things that were not, working. So I don't envy what Atiku is telling Nigerians now, because even if Atiku decide to bring subsidy back today, this nation, what goes up here never come back, never come down. The law of gravity
doesn't work in Nigeria. Okay,
doesn't work in Nigeria when it comes to price matter. You will still be surprised that even if the subsidy is now brought back, the transport fee of 100 naira before, you won't find it in Nigeria again. Do you understand? And the food stuff, a cup of gari or a cup of rice in the market before that you used to have like 400, 300, they do not come back. So where are we in all this? It's like a total mess. What I expected every aspirant, candidate now, coming out for 2027 general election should be talking is, how will I bring transparency into this subsidy that will be removed by Tinubu's government?
Mr. Evis.
The problem in Tinubu's government removal of subsidy is that there's no transparency in it.
Mr. Evis, I love the fact that you use the word, how do we, get transparency in this particular subsidy that the president,
I will expatiate on that.
Now, Mr. Evis, I want to ask you this question. Do you think that subsidy is gone?
No. It's not gone. Because we heard that they rebranded, they gave
because
it another
I'm about to bring you up to speed as regards to, a lot of revelations that we've been getting.
Yes.
And I think we have to do a lot as Nigerians to make sure that for every budget that is being presented, every Nigeria, deserves and should always go and read it, and we should start asking more questions now.
Yes.
Because upon this particular fake agency, revelation, Nigerians were now interested. That was how we got to know that even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs had billions of naira for borehole. What are they going to do with borehole? Street lights. Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
That being said, when we checked NNPC Health's file, we realized that some subsidies or subsidy was still being paid, but called another name.
Yes.
Just like you giving me money for a certain thing, you called it miscellaneous. So, is subsidy gone? Don't you think Atiku is right? It's just a question, because everyone is saying that, no, you can't bring back subsidy. If you can't bring back subsidy, and the present government said they've taken, subsidy is gone, but you are still paying it indirectly, is this not the same subsidy? So this time around, subsidy officially is gone, unofficially it still remains, and Nigerians are feeling the brunt. Why don't you bring it back and try to see the targeted what have you? It's just a question.
Well, that's what I said. The issue with the subsidy is gone. That came in May 29, 2023, is that we have not had transparency in it. Nigerians are not part of it. This subsidy is gone was only done by Tinubu and his cabal. If you want to tell Nigerians that you are remove subsidy because it will be beneficial to you and I, Nigerians are supposed to be brought in. How many civil society organizations were invited to discuss this? Labor union, were they invited to discuss this? The students and the market women and the road transport workers, were they invited? So it was only Tinubu's government that concocted it and executed it and start implementing it to where we are today. So whoever is saying, I want to retain it, has a lot of job to rejig the transparency of this subsidy matter, because we have not gotten to the bottom of it. Forget about what we are saying that state governors, okay, you remove subsidy and use it to punish Nigerians, and now use it to enrich the state governors. Is that how it's supposed to be? The subsidy is supposed to be that, okay, when you remove it, these are the gains that Nigerians are going to get from it. No Nigerian is gaining it today. Instead, we have been plunged into more poverty.
But they said their reforms are yielding results and they've been doing a lot for Nigeria.
Where are the reforms? Where are the reforms? You just showed a video clip of Nigerians staying three days on the road for a 6 hours journey. Is that not supposed to be part of the reform that somebody will say, oh, since subsidy came in, since subsidy was removed, Nigerians have good, well-paved express roads.
Minister Dave Umahi said that he's about to fix the Kata Bridge again, and of course the Lagos-Calabar coastal highway.
If you are fixing Kata Bridge, fix the already existing ones that Nigerians can move and go about their normal businesses. Not Lagos-Calabar coastal highway of 47 kilometers that is not leading you to anywhere. How many Nigerians are doing business on that 47 kilometers they've done is Lagos-Calabar coastal highway? The Badagry-Sokoto, how many Nigerians are doing business along with it? But you look at Nigerians that are doing genuine business, aching at means of livelihood, stranded on the road for 3 days for an already existing road. One would have expected that the government should first of all talk about their priority. Let us fix this existing road while we begin to expand the new ones that we are going to bring in. Many roads are not functional in this nation. Look at the one that was shown in Ekiti. I want to tell you that even forget about the fire brigade approach that they now began to do between Benin, Ekpoma, and Auchi, Abuja. Forget about it. That is being done by one of the investors in Edo State. Started fixing some of the palliative section like Dangote did here. Ado Samad group.
Yeah.
So when you come up with fire brigade approach and things are not laid down as expected for Nigerians to actually know what you're supposed to bring in for them was for us to benefit from, then that's where we missed it. So if Atiku says, oh, I'm going to remove subsidy, or I'm going to bring subsidy back, first of all, let him bring Nigerians into it. Let Nigerians now begin to know how much is coming out of whatever subsidy and how it is being channeled. We used to see what they call town hall meetings. Nigeria electoral system is made up from ward to local government to state before federal. If you begin to bring town hall meetings to the level of ward, not just for you to go and campaign and make empty promises that you don't fulfill. Nigerians will hear. From ward, you have a councillor who is the leader of the ward that can table the responsibility, the requirements and the needs of his ward to the local government chairman. Where have we seen all this? Then you just cut the tree at the top and you expect the tree to die? You have not pulled it from the ground? That's what we saw in this removal of fuel subsidy from Tinubu's government. And now begin to use the money, put it into the Federal Account Allocation Committee, FAC, and the state government and state governors are now junketing around the globe using feeding fat with it, without commensurate project on ground to show Nigerians that this is what we are doing with it. The president himself knows that it has failed. Let me tell you, do you know why I said he knows the subsidy matter has failed? Because he told his governor some time ago, go and wet more ground in your state. That is owing up that the subsidy money that is given to them has failed. He himself has seen that they are not doing enough to what Nigerians should appreciate from the removal of subsidy. So forget about that. They are not coming out to tell Nigerians that we have actually failed in this system. He even himself has made pronouncement on the failure of this subsidy. So whatever Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, or whoever is talking about regarding subsidy, this one that President Tinubu's administration for these 4 years has used to punish Nigerians should completely be jettisoned. Let's start all over. And Nigerians will be carried along with this. We have had PTF in this nation. PTF is also the same thing. When Abacha introduced tax into liters of fuel, he now brought in PTF to manage the fund. And we saw PTF was doing well for so many years in this nation. Tying roads, equipping schools and hospitals and all of that. Which one can you pinpoint now for subsidy has been doing? Because we saw management of PTF. People were held responsible to say, manage this fund for us. Who is managing the subsidy that Tinubu's government removed? Who is managing it? We only come to hear figures. that, we have had 16, almost 16 trillion. For that money, can you boast of Nigeria? Can Nigeria say that they've enjoyed 1 trillion from the removal of subsidy? Nobody will say it. Transport fare we can no longer pay. Before now, we had CNG buses that, if I cannot wait for the CNG bus, that's why I'll go and board the one that is costly. Nigerians will know that, government have made efforts. Okay, you get to the market, there's no silo that you have government say, we have silos that when we are in glut season, harvest season, we fill up the warehouses, silos, so that at the time that the harvest is gone, we begin to release grains and foodstuff for Nigerians at control price. Do you have that? Do you have that market?
Mr. Elvis, I love the fact that you are really, talking about a lot of historical facts, and I'm really concerned now because you even mentioned that of Abacha's
yes, PTF.
Yeah, the PTF, and if you remember, we also has the SAP thing that's failed.
He failed.
Yes, Babangida.
Even before Jonathan's removal of subsidy failed, yes. Jonathan has already put up Shopee.
Now the thing is, I remembered that this particular SAP structural
adjustment
program, as at the time, this was how subsidy was removed, not only from fuel, but also from the farm fertilizer and all of that, floating the naira, essential commodities and all of that. Nigerians actually felt it, we suffered for it. Now, 40 years after, the government of the day cannot look at it and say, someone made this mistake in the past.
Yes.
What have I put in place before to curb
a repetition of this
effect, so that the repetition of this situation would not happen again? But if you bring it to the random APC, people, they would. They will react and attack.
We know,
but
we know the figures they are quoting are not commensurate.
Let me take it to Barrister. Barrister, are you there?
I am.
Okay. Now let's talk about this accountability spending in governance. That about 33 states spent 512.10 billion on government houses, and of course travel in 6 months. That is about 4,713 times governor's salaries. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could not get that. Yes, please say again.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you audibly now.
Yes. So yes. I said that 33 states spent about 512.10 billion on government houses, and of course, including travels, in just 6 months. That is like 4,713 times governor's salaries. Is this sustainable? And why do citizens tolerate all of this? Because since 2015, budget tracking groups like a budget have reportedly flagged government houses and travels, as a normal thing which our government indulged themselves in. Until date, nobody is holding any government officials accountable as regards to the tourism, the travel, changing of equipment that they get to, replace in their offices. What's your take as regards to this? In just 20 seconds, we're trying to wrap up, please.
I'm struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I think I can hear you now.
Did you hear all I said?
Yes, I think you were trying to do an analysis of, the recent costs that was accrued by at least 33 states in Nigeria.
Yes.
Which total to about
512.10 billion.
Yes, for government houses
and travel in 6 months, just 6 months. That's what they've spent. What's your take as regards to this?
For me, I want to believe that it is not sustainable. It is not sustainable at all, and that's why we say that we're not as a people, we are not lucky to have the kind of government that we have. And I say this knowing that we have a government that across all levels do not prioritize the Nigerian people, because if not anything else, just as your guest in the studio has mentioned, the subsidy should be to cushion the effect of hardship in Nigeria in the first place. Atiku, I'll go back to the main issue. I just want to touch on this. Atiku was heard in 2023 campaigning against, the subsidy that existed within the regime before the Tinubu regime. He criticized it and said it was fraudulent and it was not a sustainable system. Yet he has now turned around in 2026, going into the 2027 election to say, "Oh, I would say what will make me popular this time, so that Nigerians would fall into my trap again." And my comment is that it is a sad one.
Okay.
That the government would, across all levels, take us for fools in this country. In all honesty, government houses. I give an example of Niger State. That guy who sits as the governor of Niger State, Umar Bago. I dare to say that his people are in some level of high poverty. Yet it looks like things are beautiful on the internet because they make it look so. He is not just the only one. Several other governors in Nigeria from this report that we
Bolaji, we're pressed for time. And sincerely, sorry, we're pressed for time. We just have to go now. Thank you so much for being part of the program. And of course, hopefully we would actually reschedule to have you join the program, very soon again. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much, Mr. Avis. And welcome back.
My pleasure.
Welcome back to People's Voice.
Yes.
All right, this is how far we can actually go as regards to the program. Coming up next is Locker Room. If you love the world of football, I like people to enjoy that particular from my team. Don't give up because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will do last. Whatsoever you face will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. My name remains Xavier Odo. Have a good evening. Rest.